Hello guys, what's going on? Yeah, hello guys, what's going on? So here today we'll be talking about briefly about the fintech industry. Yeah, more particularly because I'm a software engineer based in Nigeria, and I've had privilege of working in the fintech industry for a couple of years now. So I'll be talking about the ISO message, ISO8583 standard message that is used to interface with NIBSS, right? So an ISO message is simply divided into various parts, right? So we have the header and the body, right? The header is simply like the length of the body. So I know that's a little bit confusing right now, but I mean, yeah, we would get to it. ISO 8583 message, right? So in a typical ISO message, it has the header and then it has the body, and then so basically it's what the financial transaction institution NIBSS uses to process card payments, right? So I'm sure in some text you will probably discover that it has three parts. The first part consists of the message, they call some data elements, then code values. Then the other part, that's part two, contains application and registration procedures. Then the part three contains maintenance procedures. So the part that is really more useful for a typical software developer is so the part that is really useful for the software developer is the messaging part. The messaging part. So the message contains, right? The message has a very unique specification that is defined by NIBSS. So if you are looking for the NIBSS specification document, yeah, it's something that's not readily, it's not for everybody, right? So you'll probably have to go to the NIBSS website to get a copy of it. So when we talk about the message part, the message contains like it is divided into like three parts. There's something called the MTI, there's something called the bitmap, and then there's something called the data element, right? So the MTI usually for financial messages we usually have 0 to 100, 0 420, we have 0 100, 0 100 and 0 100, and we have a couple of others, right? 0 800 too, yeah, too for network. But so why am I giving these examples? So 0 to 100 is basically for financial messages. Zero for financial message, what I mean by that is like authorizing a transaction that comes from a card. So for 0420, that's a reversal. You're authorizing a reversal. Maybe something like a timeout happened. Maybe POS lost network, something like that. So 0 100, that's balance inquiry. If you want to make a balance inquiry, you want to check for balance inquiry on your card, on your POS, you use 0100. That's 0 100. And then if you want to make a network, like what I mean by network is a key exchange. Generally, there's a term called key exchange where your POS ideally needs to get keys from NIBSS. So those keys are usually things called session key, master key, the pin key. So those important keys, they are things that your POS needs for it to be able to do transactions, for NIBSS to be able to identify that this particular terminal is authorized to make payments on it, right? So basically, that's one aspect of the message format that I talked about, right? That's the MTIs. Now let's go to the other part. The other part there is the second part that I mentioned earlier was bitmap. So the bitmap is consists of two: the primary bitmap and the secondary bitmap. So Basically, that one might not really be so useful right now because I'm just doing an introduction. I just want to do like a walkthrough, right? So then the third aspect is the data element. So this data element is what contains the actual information that is going from the POS, right, to the processor. Not necessarily the processor, but to an institution that can authorize that card, like NIBSS, right? So, but you have other processors in Nigeria. We have InterSwitch, we have UPSL, Unified Payment Solution, we have InterSwitch. So these payment processors, right, they use that data element. That's the actual information. The actual information consists of fields two down fields 2 down till field what 64. That's if you want to do key exchange. But if you really want to make a transaction, financial transaction that's using 0 to 100 as the MTI, it starts from field 2 down till field 128, right? So I'll just be doing a quick walkthrough of each one of them. Although there's an imaginary field one, yeah, but I didn't mention that because it's not really useful. This is just a basic introduction, right? So field two is like your PAN, the PAN or your card. You know, if you've used a card before, your card that you collect from the bank in order to make payment, that your card there has a number on it. The first 6 digits, you will see something like first 6 digits, last 4 digits in some cases if they want to mask. But if they're not masking it, they show you plain everything, all your details are there. Sometimes it comes in 16 digits, sometimes comes in 14, sometimes comes in 18, and on, depending on the card scheme. Yeah, so let me delve into the card scheme. Card schemes like we have things like MasterCard, Verve, the Visa, the likes of those guys, they are your card schemes. So depending on any one of them, you can have your PAN having different digits. So we have field three. Field three, so I told you earlier that what we have the message part of your ISO that contains from field 2 to field 128. So the field 2, I've mentioned that that's the PAN. Field 3, that's your processing code. So for your processing code, it's just what is used to identify whether it's cash advance or it's a purchase transaction, right? Your field 4, that's the amount. So the amount that you want to transact. Maybe you go to a ShopRite, let's say a supermarket, and you want to make payment for like something you just got, like a drink, and the drink is say $12, say $10, or 10 naira or 20 naira. That's because I'm here in Nigeria, so I have to mention naira. So if you want to make that kind of payment, the amount will have been captured in the details that will be forwarded to the authorizing institution like NIBSS or to the switch like InterSwitch and UPSL. So and that amount is usually 12 digits, right? So the specification is very strict, right? It doesn't allow for flexibility. It gives you this is what you should do, and ideally, if you do that, you're gonna be getting wonderful transactions approved, right? But if you don't, you're gonna be having a lot of issues around declined transactions, and you know that's not good for your business, for any business rather. So we have field five. Field five is basically settlement amounts. That's if you, as the developer, you are aware or you know about it, you can decide to. But most times it's empty, null. So it doesn't have anything because most people probably don't know about it. So field six, that's the amount, that's card holder billing, like the amount the card holder wants to remove. You get for a particular transaction that you do on every card. There are some people that make money off it. The terminal owner, the person, that terminal that you're using to make the transaction, the person makes money. The card that you're using, that issuer, MasterCard, the card scheme, MasterCard, Visa, Verve, they make money. The issuer, the bank you collected that card from, they make money. All right. So various people make money, and then in Nigeria there is something called PTSP, PTAD. So your PTSP, if you have been licensed to be able to send financial transactions to NIBSS, You also make money. So it's a wonderful industry, right? You make money cross leg everywhere. And then there's field 7, that's the transmission date and time. So if the particular card you used it to make transaction at 4 a.m., that is the exact time that should be sent, that will be sent, right? Field 7. So we move to field 8. Field 8 is the amount the card holder billing fee. Anyway, in Nigeria, we don't really count this as important from if you are going to be routing your transactions as a PTSP, right? Field 10, there's a field 10, that's the conversion rate. I think I just skipped field 9, so let me talk about field 9. Field 9 is also conversion rate, but that's settlement. So most times they hide that part. That part is known to the switch or to the financial institution like NIBSS, like the authorizing institution like NIBSS. So there's field 10, which is also conversion rate, but now card holder billing. There's a field 11. So I'll be mentioning the important fields. I would rather drop those ones that are not important. Field 11, that's the stand. So stand, what does it do? Stand is just like a number that you use to audit, trace. So you have that number that is usually generated 6 digits, right, for every transaction coming from a particular TID terminal. So they match those kind of numbers, we match it with the PAN, match it with processing code and some other details in order to be able to verify that this is a particular unique transaction. There's the field 12, that's your local time, transaction time in hour, minutes, and seconds. There's your field 13, which is your local transaction date, month and day. There's field 14, expiration date. There's field 15, settlement date. I will skip over that. There's the field 16, conversion currency conversion date. There's the field 17, capture date. 18, very important, merchant category code. Merchant category code, very important. You have your field 19. So the match, before I move from merchant category code, that's is 4 digits. Four wonderful digits. Every bank gives its merchants a particular code to identify that merchant. So that's why it's called merchant category code. Field 19, that's your acquiring institution. The acquiring institution, I just mentioned it. They make money for every transaction that happens on your POS, on your terminal. Why do they make money? Because they gave you the card. So they make money. And that's field 19, the acquiring institution code. There is a code that is used to identify them. On your PAN is the first 6 digits. First 6 digits, acquiring institution code. So field 20, that's the PAN extended. We don't use that much. Field 21, that's your forwarding institution code. Forwarding institution code. Then field 22, POS, point of service entry mode. Field 23, that's the PAN sequence number. PAN sequence number. Yeah, this one comes even with your some other fields like the track2 data. I think in order to keep this simple, I wouldn't want to go too far. So let me stop here. I would break this series into short so that I can keep you, my viewers, or my listeners, a little bit. You get the attention, lifespan attention of viewers or listeners normally gets lost along the way. So I would hold on right now and continue in another series. Thank you.